What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here, and today we got another playoff series video, 2013 round 3, between the Chicago Blackhawks and the LA Kings. Round 1, I should say, against them, as they would meet in the conference final again the next year, which we'll get to. So, Hawks, as I mentioned previously, beat Minnesota, beat Detroit in 7, Minnesota in 5. They were first in the entire league with 77 points. And LA, the former Stanley Cup champion in 2012, they were going up against 59 points in the 5th seed. And LA was a Daryl Sutter coach team at this time, so they were very defensive, very physical, and they were very dangerous. I'll give them credit that. One of the teams I definitely hated at the time. Game 1, Hawks win 2-1 in a tightly close game. Justin Williams, Mr. Game 7 himself, makes it 1-0 with his 5th of the playoffs. Then Patrick Sharp and Marian Hossa both score in the second period. Sharp's 8th, Hossa's 6th, and the Hawks win 2-1 as no goals are scored in the third, and we move on to Game 2. Game 2 starts with Andrew Shaw getting his 4th of the playoffs and Seabrook getting his 2nd of the playoffs. You go to the second period where Bickle gets his 6th of the playoffs on the power play, and then 2 minutes and 9 seconds later, Michael Hanzus scores his 2nd of the playoffs. And then before the end of the period, Jeff Carter is able to make it 4-1 with his 6th of the playoffs. And then Tyler Toffoli with his 2nd of the playoffs and the 3rd makes it 4-2, but that's all the goals we'll have. Hawks take a 2-0 series lead back to LA. Game 3, Hawks lose 3-1. Game 3s are not the Hawks' specialty, if you'll see a trend throughout all these series. Game 1, not Game 1, the first period, Justin Williams scores in the first again, gets his 6th of the playoffs. Makes it 1-0. Then Slava Voinov, he's full of controversy. He's no longer in the league, to put it that way. With his 5th of the playoffs, makes it 2-0. He had a pretty good series, though. Brian Bickle, talk about a good series, makes it 2-1 with his 7th of the playoffs. And then Dwight King makes it 3-1 with an empty netter. Should say empty netter right there, but forgot about that. Makes his 1st of the playoffs, and move on to Game 4. Hawks are up 2-1 in the series. Slava Voinov gets on the board early with his 6th of the playoffs. Brian Bickle then gets on the board, making it 1-1 with his 8th of the playoffs. Dustin Penner then with his 3rd of the playoffs makes it 2-1 for LA. Won a cup in Anaheim, I believe, and then was offer sheeted to Edmonton of all places, and then somehow ended up in LA. Patrick Kane then with his 1st of the series and only 3rd of the playoffs at the time makes it 2-2, and then Marian Hossa in the 3rd makes it 3-2 with his 7th of the playoffs, making the series lead 3-1 for the Hawks as they win Game 4 3-2. So look at all, we got a lot of close games here. Nothing more than a 2-goal differential: 2-1, 4-2, 3-1, 3-2. Then Game 5, Hawks win 4-3 in double overtime and take the series. Duncan Keith gets on the board early with his 2nd of the playoffs, and then Patrick Kane with his 4th of the playoffs makes it 2-0. Dwight King then responds with a shorthanded goal in the 2nd with his 2nd of the playoffs, and Anze Kopitar gets his 1st of the series. Going to be the best Slovenian and only Slovenian I've ever known. Makes it 2-2 with his 3rd of the playoffs on the power play. Patrick Kane then makes it 3-2 and regains the lead with his 5th of the playoffs, and then with 10 seconds left in the 3rd, Mike Richards gets his 3rd of the playoffs, and LA ties at 3-3. And at this point, I was guaranteed they were going to lose that game. I was guaranteed, like, when you score that late, you just feel like you're going to win the game. But in double overtime, Taze and Kane have a 2-on-1. Taze over to Kane. Kane blasted in for his 3rd of the night. He gets the hat trick, completes the hat trick, and Hawks win 4-3 and go to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2010, where they'll face Boston, who previously had beaten Toronto in 7 during the iconic 4-1 comeback in Game 7. Then there was, I believe, the Rangers they then played next, and then they swept the top-seeded Penguins in the East to get to the final. So Hawks versus Boston. That's really all that I have about the gameplay aspect. Stats, Bickle leads the Hawks with 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. So excellent series for Bickle. Bickle was amazing in these playoffs. If he could have replicated, if 2012 and 2011 had gone on longer, Bickle, I feel like, would have been an even bigger part of those and might have even been like an even better player than what he's seen to be, because he was a great playoff performer. In the regular season, he kind of follows into the bottom 6 role. Maybe he'll go up to top 6 if they need him, but in the playoffs, he is all thrusters go, and was unstoppable. Kane then had 4 goals and 1 assist and 5 points, and those 4 goals came in the last 2 games of the series. Hossa had 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points. Hanzus had 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. Sharp had 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. Tays had 0 goals, 3 assists, 3 points. Crawford goes 4-1 with a .927 save percentage, so not too bad. And on LA side, we have Voynov with 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. Carter, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points. Toffoli, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. Williams, 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. Quick goes 1-4 with an 897 save percentage. Pretty low for Jonathan Quick, especially. And then Jonathan Bernier, has 1 appearance, which he stopped all 9 shots and had a 100% save percentage. So, yeah, that's really all I have for you guys today. Another short series. Yeah, there's really not much else to describe this series. I would honestly say the one problem I have with the Hawks in this series, they struggle with keeping the leads against LA, that is for sure. And there's a reason I call the 2014 conference final. It's considered the best series in the last decade that Chicago played in. It's actually considered the best playoff series in the NHL that happened. But the Hawks cannot keep a lead whatsoever in that series, and you already see shades of it here. They're up 2-0. They tie it at 2-2. They're up 3-2. They tie it with 10 seconds left at 3-3. And then sometimes they win, and more often than not, they lose in that series. Yeah, another one. Actually, no, they came back in this one. They took the lead in this one. They had the lead in this one. And that one, so this series, Game 5 was essentially the precursor to what would happen in the next series. Because I like to call the 2014 conference final, round 3, I should say, if you're not with the technical terms, that it's the series that got away from Chicago, without question. LA honestly could have won this series without question. They had 1-0 lead here. They won this game. They had 2-0 lead here. 1-0 and 2-1 lead here. This game they tied it. The series could have gone the other way. The only games that solidified, Game 3 was solidified LA. Game 2 was solidified Chicago. The other 3 could have went any other way. They were 1-goal games. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. We got the Stanley Cup Final against Boston tomorrow, and then we'll start the 2014 playoffs, also known as one of the saddest playoff stories of my life. So, other than that, we'll move on to the next episode tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.